Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood turning tools. Made by a wood turner for wood turners. This is a really neat project because you're going to make a hollow vessel that all your friends are going to look at and go, how the heck did you do that? Because it's going to look like you hollowed through that tiny little hole. And there are no tools that'll get you into a hole that small and into something this diameter. And the way we're doing it is we're making out two pieces of wood, and as you can tell, it's very hard to tell that there are two pieces of wood here. Once you put a finish on there, it even hides the seam more. So what we're going to be doing is we're working with some maple, because if I was working with the bobinga I made the other one out of, we'd be here all day. But anyway, I'm making a 8-inch circle on 2-inch thick maple. And when you do this, I would practice on something like this first to get your technique down, and then once you do, go to the pretty wood, the expensive stuff, because then you can go crazy, because this looks really great, as you can see, without even a finish when you use a really nice wood. Now, the way this is constructed, I have a little drawing for you here since I glued that one together. You can't finish this unless it's glued together, so I couldn't break it apart, I'm sorry. Anyway, this line tells you where the first bottom half is, and then up here where the top half is. And so this is one board, there's the other board, and then I also have a lip right here, and you can see this will swing in like that, and it'll have a recess in there so they mate up together. Some people do these where they're just flat pieces of wood and sand them flat and glue them, but I'm just not real secure with that type of hold, so the way I like to do is with the lip, so when you glue it together, it really holds together well. So anyway, the first step we're going to do is go to the bandsaw and cut out our blanks. Bottom, top, top. No, I'm not losing my mind. Once you've cut the blanks out, these were oriented in the board like so. So I want to make sure that I'm marking the top of the wood, because if you're using a highly figured wood, you want to wind up with these like this when they're put together. That way the grain patterns match. It's really cool. If you get it flipped, you'll see a little bit of a different grain pattern, and that's not what you want. People will know your trick, your secret at that point. Anyway, why it said top, bottom, this is the top of the wood, but this is the bottom of the piece, okay? So, I'm trying to run this through my head. I have to put the bottom here. I'm going to put a tenon on here, flip it, put a recess on here. Yeah, exactly. Right. Follow that good? Okay, we're gonna. Yes. Top, bottom. I'm trying to get this straight in my head, because if I get this upside down, it doesn't matter, it's maple. If I do it wrong, I'll tell you. But anyway, okay, so I'm putting the top, bottom over here. And I've got that little tiny hole that my my compass put in there. So I'm gonna bring this up here. I'm gonna be thinking about that through the whole turning now. And slowly bring this in, and it's barely touching right now. There it goes. Oops, I just heard my phone. My wife is probably texting me. She had me working last night. That's why the shop is so messy right now. She liked the project so much, she said, I need to take one of those to work for a friend who's leaving work. So I had to make her a going away gift last night, and so obviously my shop is in much worse shape than you're used to seeing it. Well, you see it that way at the end of every show, but not at the beginning. Anyway, okay, I've got that mounted on there, and I'm going to get my bowl gouge, and we're going to round this out. Okay, I'm bringing my tool rest up to about center height, and I've got the blank mounted. That's why you always spin it first to see if it's going to hit. Bring it back again. There we go. That looks really good. All I want to do is clean this edge up, and you can see I didn't do a great job bandsawing. There's really no need to if you are using a nice softwood. If you're using something like the bobinga I used for the the first one, you might want to cut it a little cleaner because that's hard wood. Why put yourself through a lot more effort when a bandsaw can help you out? So we're picking up the speed, we're probably about 800 RPM, I'm kind of guessing. So I'm going to come in here, you can see I've got the tool with the bevel aiming the way I want to go. And we're just going to make our cut. It's a little bumpy right off the bat. So I'll do it again, here we go. It is a nice thing about maple, it is a wonderful wood to turn with. Now the diameter I'm making here is an important one. If I'm going to round out the bottom blank, I want to round it out just a little bit more than I would think I'd want to, because if I make that one too big and this one that I cut out here is smaller by accident, then I'm in trouble. I will have to come back and fix that one. So I want to make that one a little bit smaller to begin with anyway. So next step is we're going to turn this, start working on the bottom and make a tenon. Okay, we'll turn the lathe on now. We're going to be using a push-pull cut. No, I mean, it's a pull cut, but I'm pushing in. It's not a push cut. You got to watch the edges on this, by the way, when it's spinning. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see that right there. Yeah, that's what happens when you put your hand into the wood. It's really sharp when you're doing this process here. Okay, so I'm pushing in like so. And so it's just stepping it in. And what I'm wanting to do is make about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit smaller than that, tenon that we're going to use to reverse this, because we got to hold this two different ways while we're making it. And we're going to use the tenon on this end, then we're going to use a recess on the other side. So right now this tenon, sorry, it's like swallowing a fly, but not nearly as tasty. Anyway, this tenon is actually in the center of the bowl. So this is going to turn like this and sit like that. I've got my orientation right in my head finally. Anyway, I'm just eyeing in about a 1 3/4 inch tenon right there. So I'm going to pull the tool back and just keep lowering this down. And that's enough to make a nice tenon right there. Let me clean that up just a little bit more. There we go. That looks good. Now, if you're worried about making your tenon too narrow, just use a pair of calipers and transfer the diameter onto there that you need. So anyway, I've got to get my friend the skew. Let me stop this real quick, because I have to raise the tool rest for this. You can't get in there with my favorite tool to make this angle because you're on the side, all its wood's in the way. So we're going to take the skew, I'm going to bring it in here on edge, and we're going to just take it in and make that dovetail, like so. And then as I touch the wood here, let me clear out all that sawdust so you can see, we're going to come across and make a nice flat surface for the top of the jaws. Okay, now we're ready to flip it. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Yeah, I'm good here. We're going to flip it. Now with the piece reversed, I need to make a mark so I can make the recess for the way we're going to hold it when we turn around. And you can see as I'm pushing in with this, you can see I'm making that mark match with there, so that's 2 inches wide right there. And I think you can see that pretty good, but I will just take a Sharpie just to do this again. And once again, any of you know anybody at Sharpie? We're looking for sponsors. Okay, so to make this recess, you could go about it many ways. You could use a bowl gouge, you could use a parting tool, stuff like that. But what I want to do is use an easy wood tool. It's carbide, and I have this set on center. And I'm just going to come in here right now and just chop away like so. And I'm going in not quite 1/4 inch, but close. So I'll come back here and now flatten this out. And it does a great job of knocking that wood out of there. So I'll come in here like so, keep moving out. Now there's my 2 inch mark right there. Well, that's the exact width I need. So we'll go just a tick wider just to make sure we're on the safe side. Because you don't want to turn this around and then it won't fit. And I'm going to take my skew again and come in here and we're just going to make that dovetail on the inside now. Nice clean cut. We'll just rotate this and I'm going to come across and clean that surface like so with the tool. Because I want to leave this with a beautiful finish on there. I'm going to sand this in a minute because this is going to be the finished bottom, right? And so to be a little bit fancy, we'll come in, make a mark here, and a mark there. Now we decorated the bottom. Got that done and out of the way. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to start shaping this right here. And you can come in here. Whoops, I got to stop this. My tool rest is too high. See, I'm coming in above center, so I want to bring this down. Okay, come in like so. And actually, I'll hold this up here. You think I know this by memory, but it's just by feel. So my memory's not what it used to be. Anyway, let me grab this. This is actually a curve. There, better. That's the way I kind of diagrammed this out when I first decided to make this. It's a little bit wider than the wood I had. My printer wasn't cooperating at the time. But anyway, Brian, you can probably see this better. As I hold this up here and kind of wrap it around, you can kind of see I want to end up about here. So that's showing me about where I want to end up, obviously. And I'm going to reach over here, grab my Sharpie. Ugh. Lost that lid. Put it right here. And then turn this on real quick. So now I know that's going to be the lip of the bottom of the bowl. And that's where I'm going to start shaping to wind up attaching that to make the bottom. Yeah, where is that thing? Never lose your lid when you have a Sharpie. Ooh, that'd be dangerous. Okay, let's get back to turning. Now we're using a pull cut to start the shape here. And one thing about the shape is it's a very gradual curve right here. You don't want to go too fast. And you can see also right here I have a foot. So when I make this, I'm going to want to cut in, make the foot, come out to the curve here. It's a very delicate shape, and I kind of screwed it up a couple times. So this actually got a little smaller as I was working on it because I kept doing design modifications to get the shape I wanted. So just take your time and don't remove a lot of wood at once. So I'm going to work my, I'm going to work my way over to the foot here. And once I get to the foot, we'll start getting our depth going. But I can, right now, get the curve going on the edge a bit because of that mark I made. Now, I want to switch to a little bit heavier bowl gouge right now because I'm overhanging the tool rest more, and you could hear that vibration. Now, see, no vibration. Well, the vibration's from me pushing hard on the wood. So, anyway, we're going to keep pulling this like so. And it's like peeling an onion. We're going to take it back layer by layer. And I've had to move my tool rest at an angle so I can make this curve. And see, if I take my time and let the tool do the cutting and don't rush it, you lose the vibration. And I love working with maple because it's such an easy wood to turn. And we're almost now to where we're going to start establishing the foot. And one thing I can do to help this cut quite a bit, I'm going to pick the speed up a bit. Now we're going a good clip, probably about 1500 RPM. So watch how the cut changes. See, it really flies the shavings off. And there, now we're establishing our foot. I'm going to bring this tool handle down on my hip a little better. There we go. And you can see where I'm cutting with the blade right there. And as I come to here, man, I'm getting a lot of those today. As I come to here, you start seeing I start going towards the tip of the tool. And that's as far as you want to take it, because if you go any further, you'll get a catch. Now, I'm liking that shape pretty good. So I'm just going to refine it just a little bit more. And then we'll start working a little bit on the headstock side to prepare this for turning around.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood turning tools. Made by a wood turner for wood turners.